Yo, yo, what is up? All right. I might have uh, I might have some problems with the connection because my internet is garbage. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Um, I'm just gonna share this around. So some problem. Japan. You think like when you think of Japan, you think it's that they're really technologically developed, but sometimes it's actually hard to get a good internet connection. And right now, my internet sucks. Hotspot on my phone is actually better than better than my internet provider, and for some reason, it just won't connect to my hot. It won't connect to my the hotspot on my phone. Maybe I need to update something or some other bullshit. But yeah. Gray Fox, what's up? Thanks for joining. Chicks cheating, buffering big time. Damn. I thought it would. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Gonna gonna have to sort my internet out for definitely for tomorrow. Or I might just have to slug it out. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to resolve the internet problem today. But yeah, Gray Fox says any stories of chicks cheating. I mean, I the only time I remember a chick cheating on me was, back when I was like a teenager. But I'm sure that chicks have cheated on me. I just don't know about it. I haven't been in that many like committed relationships because I I kind of enjoy being single. Um, I just like living the player life. So that's why I'm calling this show. It's gonna be called Player Life. This is episode 1. Yeah, so I'm starting off this. It's gonna be called um, "Chicks Cheating with Me." Oh my god! Oh my god! Like chicks cheat all the time with me. Um, you know, talking about chicks that are married, chicks with boyfriends. I don't seek out girls that have that are married or have boyfriends, but um, all the time, chicks, you'll find them. I mean, if it's not me, it's gonna be someone else. So you might as well. But um, definitely, chicks cheat all the time, and I don't really care. Uh, some guys have some moralistic bullshit about, oh, bros before hoes. I mean, with your friends, yeah, don't go out and try and bang your best buddy's girlfriend or whatever. But I mean, you don't owe other guys anything. I mean, guys that aren't your friends. I mean, if his hoe is cheating on him, if it's not going to be with you, it's going to be with someone else. So I don't have any moral standards. When it comes to, I have no problems with banging another guy's chick if she's putting herself out there, if she's putting her pussy out for up for sale or whatever. I'm gonna treat it like any other bitch, even if that, whether she has a boyfriend or not. Um, just to keep on topic, what about shit test versus a girl who is insufferable and rude? At the moment, just dropping these girls quickly if they have no manners. I mean, if they're insufferable and rude, that's probably a sign that they have low interest in you in the first place. So girls that have low are displaying low interest, you you got to understand that they're just going to waste your time if they're behaving, if they're misbehaving, if they're showing bad manners, um, then you should just cut to the chase. Like sometimes when I'm on a date and I feel I'm picking up all the signs where she's showing low interest, and I'm not really able to redeem it, or make, no matter what I do, no matter what tricks I pull out of the bag, she's just still being a bitch. You sometimes I pull the plug. I'll just be like, yo, I'll pay the bill, I'll pay for the drinks or whatever, pay for the food, and I'll try and take her directly to my house. Either we're gonna bang or she's out of here. Like, so just pull the plug on those bitches that you can't stand, because you're either, you're not gonna want to, you don't want to be hanging around with, you don't want to be around them if they're gonna be wasting your time. I mean, what's the point in suffering some bitch talking shit if she's not even gonna, if you're not even gonna fuck? So, weigh up your options. Um, girls giving, shit tests are more like, you know, rejecting you and stuff, rejecting your first advances, or rejecting your offer to go back to yours or whatever. Shit tests are not usually a constant like nagging bitchiness. That's not a shit test. That's just, she's just a bitch. You know what I mean? That's like, I wouldn't call that a shit test. If some girl has a shit personality, that's not her giving a shit test. That's just her being a bitch. And some girls are just bitches. Uh, so you know, some people are just not only girls. Like some people, they've whatever they have going on in their life. Um, some people have like, excuses. Some people, they have no excuse for their behavior. Some people have had a shit life, and they can be assholes. Or some people have had shit lives, and they're the best people ever. So, you know, I don't have the patience to be around a girl that is a bitch, and it certainly wouldn't be taking them out on. I wouldn't be going for second dates with a girl that is displaying bitchy behavior. No, no way. The only thing I'd be even reluctant to, if a girl is a super bitch, you know, it's just right. They gotta come to my house on the second date, or it's not going down. But I will tell you this: something about a super bitch can be, in terms of, not in terms of dating, but in terms of sex. The sex can be fire with girls that are super bitches. So, it's kind of like, maybe it's just me, but because if you like if a girl is too much like a princess, or like a high quality woman or whatever, or just too innocent or whatever, sometimes the sex can be, not the it doesn't have that fire behind it. But if a girl is a bitch, like, you don't hold back. So I sometimes I like dominating a girl that's a super bitch, because I don't know, you can be more aggressive, and yeah, usually the sex can be very good. But I'm not gonna hang out. I'm not gonna be putting up with a girl that just has not fun to be around. Um, yeah, exactly. Got her plate at the moment, but have to drop her because she is the ultimate bitch. I thought it was shit testing, then heard her speak on the phone to friends and family, same thing. Yeah, I mean, you can tell, you can also tell by the way they deal with, service staff. If you're in a restaurant and like they're very dismissive or rude to service staff, she is a major bitch. You know, that's another thing. That's a red flag. Another red flag is when chicks are super stingy. I remember this happened just last week. Not even last week. When was it? It was maybe Friday night. Last Friday, I was on a date, last minute kind of date, with a girl from Bumble, and she came to my local area, and we arranged to meet at this cafe, and she hit me up and said, but she got there before me, and she hit me up and said, the cafe is closed or whatever, for some reason. Actually, it was closed because some of the staff member got corona. Oh shit, can't say that, but I got the beer bug, and yeah, some bullshit like that. Um, beer bug, beer bug going heavy around Tokyo. Yet city's all good. Everywhere's open. Everywhere's good to go. Yeah, so Tokyo is kind of based. Japanese are based. They understand that businesses need to stay open and whatnot. Fully on board with that. But anyway, diverging. So I said, wait there. I'll be there in a few minutes, and I got there, and I actually had MLD's dog Happy. I was looking after her because he was away, and so we couldn't. This place, it had a place where you could sit outside and all that, but there was no other places near there. So I suggested we go back and watch a movie and order a pizza. Kind of. I thought it might work out in my favor that the place was closed. I didn't know the place was closed, but the place was actually closed, and she was like, sure. And I was like, "Oh, do you have like Uber Eats? Can you order that?" And she was like, "Oh my god, you want me to pay? Do you want me to pay for it?" She said it in a really bitchy tone, like that it was the rudest thing that she would have to pay for it. And I knew she was just not my type instantly from then. Like, and I said, no, no, it's just because I want, I don't like ordering. I don't like ordering. I hate ordering food, especially in Japan. Just easier if a Japanese person does it. Although I can speak Japanese, I don't have to deal with doing it. So I just asked her, could she order it? And she was like, oh my God, like, it was a big deal. She thought she was going to have to pay for it. Us guys, we all like, I wasn't even thinking about money. I was just like, oh, okay, it'd be easier if she did it. Because she was down to come back. And I was like, just like, no, I was like, I'll pay for it. Just you order it. And, but that was a big red flag. And so she basically, she came back, and we're just in the place for just like we just got in the place, and she starts like talking on the phone to her friend, and I'm getting sick of this bitch so quickly, because that's like in my presence talking to her friend on the phone. This chick was Chinese too, and so I don't know what she's saying or whatever. So I got real tired. I was like, this bitch is just like rubbing me up the wrong way. I don't even. She was all right too. She wasn't as good looking as her photos either. So I was like, God damn, this bitch, like, not just like talking on the phone for a minute, like it was like 5 or 10 minutes, and we're already in the place, and I'm just getting real sick of her. Like, so I go, yo, you all right? Like, while she's talking on the phone, like, yo, what's up? Like, are you all right? You're gonna talk all night on the phone? Like, so she says goodbye to her friend, and basically, I don't know. She, I tried to tell her, I tried to make a move or whatever, and she was, giving me. I felt at this point it wasn't really. It was more than a shit test, and I was really done with her behavior, just her kind of rude attitude, and on top of that, she had rejected my advances. So I was like, before we even like ordered a pizza, I was like, yo, I just pretty much like, you know, she actually said, "Oh, I think I should go," and I was like, "Yeah, you should go." Like, and I let her, I let her go or whatever. But I was happy she left because I was like, okay, I'm gonna make my move. I'm not gonna tolerate this girl anymore because we're either gonna get it on or she's gonna leave, because sometimes you just gotta pull the plug, make your move. If you don't like them, it's not worth the juice is not worth the squeeze. So maybe if I was like, real like all like super nice to like whatever, I don't know, held out, I could have gotten something. But when you just don't like someone, what's the point? Even if we do it, you know, whatever. Like sometimes you have to put up with a certain amount of shit, but maybe I just wasn't in the mood that day. Sometimes you're just not in the mood, guys. You're just not in the mood. You're just like, I'm just not putting up with this shit today. Get the fuck out of my house. You know? Um but yeah, that was a bit of a rant, but yeah, that's just a day in the life. Um yeah. Any plans on getting any books out in the future regarding shit tests or uh dating overall? Yeah, I mean, books are not agenda yet, but I mean, possibly in the future. I thought I could definitely write a book on dating in Japan, because I guess I know the dynamics very well with Japanese women. That's kind of niche though. Um, Definitely not on the horizon yet, but I'm just gonna continue to do this YouTube show and offer consultations, and I'm also setting up some packages on my website to help guys out regarding day game and whatnot. So yeah, that's my agenda at the moment. Just trying to, yeah. I'm gonna be writing. I'm writing a blog on at the moment on my website, um, because I guess it's good practice to build up, get used to writing content. Because I don't consider myself a writer. Um, I but maybe after whatever a year or so of writing the blog, it's going I I'll have enough, because writing, it takes practice. To write a book, you need to, it takes time. Um, Definitely something I'd like to do in the future, though. Uh, what was I gonna say? Um, yeah, there's gonna be a package on my website that's going to involve. It's going to have three things. It's going to have a blog, access to the blog, access to a Telegram chat with people that are interested in day game, and a monthly webinar on day game. About 2 hour webinar. Um, so that's not ready yet, but I'll get that. I'll get that out. I think it's going to be pretty valuable, very helpful for guys to learn day game. Because the thing about day game is you it's not only it's not only about consuming content, but it's about actually putting into practice the things that you learn. So on one hand, you could consume all this content, and you you could just become really knowledgeable about the ins and outs of day game. But when it comes to actually doing it, you suck. You don't have the experience. And so on the other hand, you could just start doing day game, and that is actually better than just reading and studying and less consuming kind of red pill content. But it takes a lot longer because you're not very knowledgeable about it. You don't really know what you're doing. The ideal is to consume day game content and put it into practice. So that's why it's good to get coaching, or to be part of some kind of group, so that you're held accountable for what you're actually, so you can talk with people about your experiences and stuff like that. So day game is the best. Growing up in the 90s, it was either day game or night game. You learned via trial by fire, or trial by error. I guess you're trying to say. Trial by error is obviously a very great way to learn. Some guys, though, they don't see the error of their ways. You know, sometimes it's good. You need an outside, someone looking in that has a different perspective. So yeah, that's why it's good to be part of a group, because guys can look in and tell you where you're making mistakes. Yeah, I'm just gonna share this and see, get some more viewers. Yeah, if you've any questions about game, or shit tests, or hit me up in the chat. Um, yeah, because you gotta expect shit tests. Like, there's one thing I've learned is that shit tests are, you know, they're more likely than not. Um, I can't tell you how much pussy I would have left on the table if I didn't pass these shit tests, because most girls give you a shit test at some point, especially at the last moment, when you're trying to seal the deal, when you're trying to make the move, when you're trying to make a move. They will almost almost always give some kind of resistance, last minute resistance. That is, or when, just throughout the date, when you're talking on the date, they will just throw things at you to try and see what you're made of. Um, yeah. Yeah, so pretty much, yeah. So the most common time that a girl will give you the shit test is when, it could be any time. It could be usually when you're finished the date and you're trying to get them back to yours. They will often make up some excuse. They'll say they don't do, oh, I don't go back to guys' houses on the first date, or they'll say something. Um, and Gray Fox says, aren't the last minute resistance foreplay to them? Yeah, like, the harsh reality is, girls. I've talked about this before. Like, it's to do with, like, dominance and being dominated. Girls don't want to be dominant in any way, shape, or form. They want to feel like a delicate flower that's being, like, overpowered by a man, and they don't want to feel like they're just giving it up so easily. Um, this isn't. you know, a lot of like Western feminists will say, "Oh, this is because women have been shamed about enjoying sex, and they're ashamed of to admit that they want to have sex." And this is bullshit. It's This is not the case. The fact is they they naturally want to be kind of you know overpowered, and of course in a consensual way, but there has to be some like Gray Fox says, like it's like foreplay to them. They want to feel you know overpowered, or they don't want to feel like just they don't want to feel like they've just given it up so easily. um the crazy, the way all the things going on with the Me Too movement. And I think South Park did an episode on it, where they have some character. I don't know if you guys watch it, called PC Principal, and he was going around the campus or whatever, getting consent forms, and they had to be signed and stamped or whatever before people engaged in sexual activity. And this is like the kind of like the opposite of the reality, because as guys, if you've had any bit of sexual experience, you know that it's not a verbal like contract. We don't, certainly not a written contract. You don't write, I mean, it's obviously a comedy, it's obviously a joke, but that's just, they're making fun of the idea that consent is like, oh my god, like you have to have the written consent. They have to be like, yes, yes, like fuck me, like play, like girls don't say, girls don't be, like get into your apartment and start saying like, oh yeah, yeah. They don't start ripping off your clothes, and like they don't make the first move. Why not? Because they don't, that's not what gets them off. They don't want to feel like a man. They don't want to feel like a man. And they literally, if you went by the Western feminism, you're more likely to get a Me Too allegation, because you're just like, girls will just think you're like a creep if you start asking them like for excuse me, would it be okay if I touched your left shoulder? Um, uh, uh, like like it just doesn't work that way. And if you think it works that way, you really don't understand how female nature works, and you're never going to get laid, and you might as well just jerk off. But no, but seriously, you know, it's just crazy. I mean, it never works out. It never works out like that. To be quite honest, I don't want a female to be like making the first move on me, because I like to be in control. I like to do what I like to do. I want to control the environment, control the sexual encounter. Um, yeah, but what have we got in the comments? Yeah, that never happens enthusiastically like that. Um, know your worth. I don't know. Some girls are, of course, like show don't show any resistance or whatever. But um, that is that is when they show no resistance whatsoever. That is often not the case. We're talking about the first sexual encounter with these girls. We're not talking about after they become a plate. The first time you have sex, we're talking about. So the first time you have sex, like almost no girls will make the first move. Um, some girls won't show any resistance, and most girls will put up some kind of last minute resistance. And you got to understand the difference between last minute resistance and them not wanting to have anything to do with you. And if you're in your apartment, if you're back at your place, it's quite obvious what your intentions are. So they definitely have some kind of interest, unless they're idiots. Um, so just got to understand that most of them are gonna have they will say, oh, I don't do this on the first date. Just oh, I don't have sex before, like I'm in a relationship. Crazy things like that, just stuff that we know are lies. Like, we know that not only is she lying about not having sex before she's in a relationship, you'll understand once you turn these girls out that maybe she has a even I don't know, maybe she even has a boyfriend, or not only, or she at least has some other sex friends, or she's hooking up from dating apps. Like, so there's been so many times where I will girls will like just blatantly lie to me and tell me, like, before we've had sex, or even after. And I'm interested in finding out the truth about girls. So um I'll dig deeper and try and find out what she's up to, or if she has a boyfriend, or if she's having sex. And most girls will lie, like outright lie to me and tell me, oh, imagine we just had sex, and I will ask, so when's the last time you had sex? And she'll be like, oh, I haven't had sex in like 6 months. And I'll be like, oh, really? And then obviously she'll ask me immediately then, oh, when's the last time you had sex? And I'll be like, oh, maybe like yesterday. And she'll be like, what? Oh my god! Like, she'll be really surprised, because but and so then I'll be like, when's the last time you really had sex? And she'll be like, oh, well, I met this guy like last week from Tinder or whatever. So you know what I mean? And this is the reality. This is like, girls don't go months without having sex if they're healthy, and they most girls don't go months without having sex. Um, at least they're having sex one. Certainly they're hooking up once a month. Um, in this time, um, in 2020, 2020 is a weird year because girls have they swallow the blue pill media, so it has really it how to say this, you can't deny that this beer bug has definitely had a huge, not only a small, it has had a huge impact on the dating market. um I have to admit, it has had a pretty big impact on my ability to get women. I've still been getting women through all, like, day game, online, everything, but the numbers have fallen because women are far more likely to swallow like I said, the mainstream narrative, and they're just even, was it, we're almost into November, and there's still girls that are still spreading, sharing hashtags like stay home, and like, like, it's absurd. It feels so wrong. It feels weird. We're past that, but that's just the way it is. What's up, Brent? Mac, I just got the sex question last weekend. She asked me, and I said a month, and she said 5 months. Right. So she said 5 months. I mean, maybe it's true, because, like I said, this 2020 is in normal circumstances, I would 100% think she's lying. Like, 5 months, unless there's something really wrong with her, unless she has some medical issue. But maybe it's believable this year a little more than normal years because there's chicks that thought it was that are still saying oh I'll meet but we have to social distance, and I'm like, yo, I'm sometimes I've said this before, but whenever girls bring up the beer bug, don't try and talk to them about statistics or how ridiculous the whole situation is. Dismiss it. Don't dismiss it, but try and change the subject and talk to them about other things. I've had girls that were said, "Oh, I'll meet you, but we've had to socially distance," or and when we met, once they meet, you start talking to them, you bring your A game, they forget about all the staying at home thing, and so the key to not letting that whole thing salt your game is to just change the subject, because if you go talking about how this thing's a whole like scam, or it's like it's a propaganda, or they're trying to reset the global uh, economy or whatever, she'll think you're crazy. She'll think you're a weirdo. She's not gonna she's just not gonna meet you probably. Ask me how I know. I learned this months ago, like whatever, way back in I learned I was I tried to talk rationale to these girls, and they don't get it, and I learned very quickly not to try and put them at ease. Obviously I was just trying to put them at ease, um, and say, oh, don't worry about it, just look how many, look at the numbers, look how many people are actually dying from this. Don't go down that rabbit hole with them. They don't understand it. They just look at emotional videos on whatever the mainstream media. Some you know what I mean. They don't get reality. Um, yeah. So yeah, just keep moving. Like yeah. Uh, I got to quit. Yeah. So whenever a girl, most likely they're what's up surprise plays. Yeah. So whenever you get that question, when's the last time you had sex? I mean, it depends on how much, depends on, first of all, you shouldn't be talking about that stuff before you've had sex. If Because as soon as you start talking about sex, like when's the last time you had sex, this can only take place after you've had sex. Because if you start getting into negotiation territory, if she's asking you when's the last time you had sex, and you're asking her when's the last time you had sex, don't go there until you have sealed the deal. Um, yeah, so you but after, like I said, depends on how much you want to keep her around as a plate. Um, if you really don't care, if you're just feeling like you want to be a playboy and just like she can drop off, you've done the deal. Um, Honestly, something I tell them sometimes. A lot of the time, I just tell them, like, if when she asks me, I tell her the truth, and sometimes I'm the one to ask them. Just I ask them, and like I said, they lie about it. They tell me, oh, I haven't had sex in months. I usually don't do this kind of thing. They'll tell you a whole string of lies, and then she'll ask you, all bright-eyed, and she'll expect, she's used to guys like lying to her and saying anything to, uh, just please her. And I'll say, "Oh, I had sex yesterday," and she'll be like, like taken aback. And then, like I said, I'll ask her, and she'll tell me the truth. So this goes for the majority of women, I'd say. The majority of women will lie initially, but once you make them, you get them a little bit angry, or you break down the barrier, um, that you let them know that they don't have to lie to you, or they can tell you what the truth, then they will tell the truth. But usually, like I said, they'll lie because they don't want to seem like a slut or whatever. Um, you know, that's the truth though. Yeah. So yeah, we didn't have sex yet. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, seriously, like occasionally, yeah, she's the one that brought up sex and asked multiple questions after we made out. Yeah, dude, she's that's a shit test. So never tell them, never give them a direct answer. Um, after you make out, you know, that's not enough. She is that's a definite shit test. So you should have joked around with her. You should have said, "Oh, I've like don't give them a direct answer, especially before you've had sex. Say something like, "Oh, I've had sex with 5,000 women," or like, um, turn it around, turn the tables. Like, don't give them a direct answer. You got to keep them thinking. Um, you can only really come clean and tell them the truth after you've done the deed, and unless they're super freaky and it's super casual, and you've kind of established maybe through messaging. Unless it's a super like guaranteed thing, then you should never answer those questions directly. When a girl asks me that on a date, I always play around with it. I always say I have a new girl every day of the week, and it's not far from the truth. But or I say something ridiculous like 5,000 women or something like, and because if you tell them, it just shows that you're kind of, quite honest. It shows that you're like a beta male, because you're like telling her all. Never give them the information so easily like that. You gotta she has no, why are you asking me that? We haven't even had sex. So like, because if you start telling them stuff like that, like you're getting into, like I said, like it's negotiation territory. It becomes like, oh well, I haven't had sex in 3 months, so it just turns into bullshit then. Um, yeah, so I always try and avoid the topic of sex, unless it's like you know like a really freaky girl where it's like, oh, it's instant date. You're matched with her on some dating app, and you're already sexting her, and you're doing all this thing. Yeah, what's up, MLD? Um, yeah. So yeah, just always keep the topic of sex off the table until you have sealed the deal. After you've done the deed, you can pretty much talk about anything, because you've already done the deed. But it depends on how much you want to keep them round. I mean, there's certain things you shouldn't say if you want to keep them round. Like, for me, I personally don't care if a lot of these girls fall off, because I have that abundance mindset, and that kind of comes across, and they kind of get it. But if I had a really really hot girl, and she was really, I would like to keep her around. Basically, I might not tell her that I have like three other girls on a rotation. I just wouldn't mention it. um Sometimes, it depends. Just think about how much you want to keep them around. um you know if they're just some of them will stick around regardless of what I tell them. But they're still, they're not going to be as, maybe not as reliable uh, as a plate, where she might think that she has a chance to change you or whatever, change you into a boyfriend or whatever. But Mac is the European hot dude army general alongside with Troy Francis. Yeah, repping for repping for the Europeans, repping for the Irish. I don't know. I don't think we got any Irish in the chat, but yeah. So what else? Yeah, Brent says, yeah, the same girl also brought up car sex and was like, I bet you has sex with some girl in the back seat a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so yeah, that's another shit test. She's trying to figure you out. She's trying to like she's trying to get the dirt on you, and like if you tell her too much, you might, you could like shoot yourself in the foot. Uh, just keep her guessing. Like again, I would say, if she said, what did she say last week? You said, what do you mean last week? I did that yesterday. You just play around with them. Don't tell them what they want to. Just keep messing with them. Never tell them like, give them the direct information directly. Always keep them guessing. But yeah, I mean, I remember, you know, I don't know. This is a bit of a. This just came to me, but I was just remembering a date I was on a while ago, and we're in a coffee shop, and she was. I asked her, had she been to such and such a club? Do you like clubbing? And she was like, oh yeah, yeah, I've been there. I love clubbing, so that's like a red flag. When a girl says she loves clubbing, that's a you know that's a sign that she likes dick too. So, but she was like, oh, I don't like that place because some guy put his hand up her skirt and grabbed her ass or something, and then she was like, oh, and he wasn't even hot, and then she was all saying this, and she said then that if he was hot, I might have let him away with it. You know what I mean? This is the female mind. If he was hot, she would have let him away with it. So it's hilarious. These, as long as you tick their boxes, they don't care what you do to them. They really don't. Um, I was on another time with a girl that was telling me, we're talking after having sex, and we're talking about, this girl was definitely alpha widow. She was like, she was a young Japanese girl, maybe around 21, and she always dated older guys, and she was telling me that her ex was, she was talking about him, whatever. I knew she was like, I had already done the dates. I really don't give a shit. But she told me that on the first date with him, she said, we basically started saying, she said she usually doesn't have sex on the first date, and I was like, oh really? You never had sex on the first date before? What about your ex? And she was like, oh yeah, but he was different. And he said that he basically she went back to, he set up the date near his house or whatever, and he told her to leave her bags in his house. I don't know, maybe. And basically she said, this is what she said. She said he basically raped her, and so I was like, whoa, that sucks. And she was like, oh, but the sex was amazing. I was like, what? So I was like, but he raped you, but the sex was amazing. And she was like, yeah, he's probably the best I've ever had. I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I was like, so what happened after that? Did you go to police or whatever? And she was like, no, like I started dating him. I was like, why did you start dating him? Like he raped you? Oh, she was, because like, he was, the sex was amazing. It's just one of those things, like, couldn't believe it, but nothing really surprises me anymore. Nothing really surprises me anymore. By the way, that's obviously, I'm not telling any guys to, you know, force, rape a chick or anything, but that this is just, you gotta like wind it back a lot, but um, it just goes back to women want to be persuaded to have sex in some sense. They're not just going to want to give it up so easily. And that's an extreme example to say that, um, she according to her, he raped her and she loved it. That's pretty, pretty out there. But um, according to whatever studies or whatever, rape fantasies are the number one fantasy for women. So these are right stuff like that is that's some serious red pilling, and I mean I get into conversations like that with these girls because I um I am interested in finding the truth. I really enjoy like finding out like what the truth of what these chicks get off on and what what they're actually up to. I don't want to be comforted by like the blue pill lies, like some girl telling me, oh, like she hasn't had sex in 6 months, and just being like, oh, just accepting that. I know it's like that's a bullshit lie. So I want to find out the truth. Like when is she actually um had sex? So that's just some random thoughts. Who's in the chat there? Yeah, yeah. So MLD is gonna be having a Halloween party. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be on, and it's gonna be a good time. There's gonna be some hotties at it, I'm sure. So yeah, and Halloween is crazy, crazy in Tokyo. I don't know what it's gonna be like this year, but um, I'm gonna be going to MLD's house party. It was fire last time. Living in a pimp ass apartment in downtown Tokyo with a savage view, but I'm sure there's gonna be some super hotties at it. But in Tokyo, Halloween is just an excuse for women to just wear super super sexy costumes. Um, it's insane. Like Tokyo has probably the biggest uh, Halloween party in the world. It's probably going to be a little, little more downplayed. I'd say it's still going to go ahead though. You go to downtown Tokyo. There's literally thousands. It's not an exaggeration. There's thousands of girls wearing the sexiest cosplay um, outfits. I don't know what happened. Like Halloween in Japan just turned into like a sexy cosplay. Some people go all out. Some Japanese go hardcore and everything. There's some good costumes, but if you ever get an opportunity to experience Halloween in Japan, it's probably the best. I don't think there's a better party in the world. Outdoor party all night, scantily clad. There's literally just hundreds, thousands. There's thousands, definitely thousands of women in a small proximity, just wearing like tiny little bunny costumes. Um, some of them just wear underwear. They just yeah, I don't know. I didn't. Yeah, 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 yeah. I won't tell them about your costume. Yeah, but I need to figure out my costume. I haven't. I haven't even thought about a costume yet. Um, yeah, but Halloween in Tokyo is fire. I can't wait to go to the club after. It's gonna be fucking man. It's probably if you're gonna go out. If there's any night you're gonna go out in Japan, it has to be Halloween night. It's gonna be absolutely dope. It's gonna be dope. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm so glad. It's like like I'm so glad to be in Japan right now. It's like we can still have these events, whereas other places in the world, people are still fearful of the beer bug. And in Ireland, in Ireland, they're actually, still in lockdown. Just so mental. I just can't wrap my head around that. I feel sorry for people that are in that bullshit. Um, yeah, I need to. Yeah, but I'm lucky to be here in Japan. Japan is not a perfect place by any stretch of the by any stretch of the imagination, but it's certainly not a bad place to be right now. Uh, I will say that much. Yeah, what is up, Henry P? I do not have a costume ready yet, but I'll figure something out. I think I might go. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'll go at. Maybe I think I look good as a vampire. Um, yeah, but I will definitely be out on Halloween in Tokyo, and I'll probably actually I'll take my camera out, and I'll probably do a blog post about Halloween, just and put up a load of photos and show you what it's like, and show you like there'll be sexy nurses, like with like I don't know how you make a witch sexy, but Japanese girls are good at making they dress as like little bunnies and cats or whatever. It's crazy. Basically wearing nothing, half naked, walking around the streets. It's actually wild. It's actually wild. You have to see it to believe it. Um, what is it? Know your worth. Yes, my niece goes to college in Ireland and she's studying from her mom and dad's house in Ballina. Ballina. I think I know what that is. I do know what that is. That's not far from where I'm from. Yeah. What a shit show. I'm glad to be here though. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, there's okay. There's another place near where I'm from called Ballina, Tipperary. That Tipperary is well in Ireland's a pretty small place, but I guess in Ireland it's pretty far from where I'm from. But yeah, so that is probably gonna do it for tonight. But yeah, I'll be back here again tomorrow for episode 2 of Player Life. This is going to be the show. So, wherever you're at, have a good day. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I will catch you again tomorrow night. Peace out. Have a good one. Bye bye.